A school and a neighborhood stunned. A teacher's suicide coincides with an investigation into a relationship with a student.
When I tell you that Colorado is now spending 26 times more per month on urine screens than it did in 2014, what do you think?
I think that's a lot.
One of the simplest tests in a doctor's office can cost you more than $6,000.
Trucks, tarps, and restoration teams take over Colorado mills.
And I've never, ever seen anything like this. This is crazy.
A first look at the damage inside and the frustration from workers at stores who say they're not in the loop.
A young woman murdered, her body found dumped in Clear Creek County. Tonight, mourners remember her as police make an arrest in the case.
A teacher at Drake Middle School in Arvada who took her own life Tuesday was being investigated for a suspected inappropriate relationship with a student. Arvada police and the Jeffco Sheriff's Office are trying to sort out what led to the woman's suicide. Here's 9 News reporter Noel Brennan.
From their windows, neighbors watched.
Time 51, gunshot, PD on scene, code 4, emergent response in.
Watched as emergency vehicles swarmed a quiet home on West 73rd Avenue.
A lot of cop cars, a lot of ambulances and fire department.
The home, Arvada police say, of a teacher at Drake Middle School, Gretchen Kronfeld. Sources tell 9 Wants to Know Kronfeld took her own life Tuesday. The Jeffco Sheriff's Office says a school resource officer at Drake Middle School learned of a possible inappropriate relationship between an employee and a student. Sources say Kronfeld was the employee and the boy is now in high school. Police and the sheriff's office are still investigating. Their work is now complicated by an unexpected death a school and its community are trying to process. In Arvada, Noel Brennan, 9 News.
A spokeswoman for Jeffco School says Gretchen had been with the district since 1993. According to Kronfeld's resume posted on the school's website, she was born and raised in Arvada. She has 3 children.
Maybe it sounds a little bit juvenile to call it a gold rush, but anyway you look at it, Colorado seems to be paying an awful lot to test urine. And by a lot, we mean millions. 9 Wants to Know started asking questions after a $6,200 charge for a urine screen came to us via Show Us Your Bills. As investigative reporter Chris Vanderveen discovered, even the state of Colorado had no idea this was a thing.
This is a story about urine. Sharon Hensley's actually, and why the testing of hers led to this 4-figure charge.
Well, we could have gone to like Hawaii or something for that.
Or Paris. Round trip for her and her 2 kids, 5 nights nice hotel.
Bonjour!
And even a few 5-star restaurants.
Oui, oui.
Not that she's going.
So now's the time we should tell you what a urine screen can cost. And in order to do that, let's introduce you to Richard Matucci and his pee cup.
That's exactly what it is.
He'll test your urine for all sorts of things.
You can do a pretty good test for less than $100.
Less than $100.
For that, it'll tell you if your urine tests positive for 20 drugs. Some legal, some not. Add a few more drugs and the cost goes up a little.
The high 200s most likely.
So what happened to Sharon?
I now have chronic pain in my chest.
Recently, Sharon went here to Dimensions Pain Management after numerous surgeries left her with nearly daily flares of chest pain, according to medical records she gave us.
When your heart hurts, your brain is not happy.
Dr. Leif Sorensen asked her for a urine screen. Urine screens are now common in pain management. Blame the country's addiction to painkillers. Doctors order a test in order to tell if you're actually taking what you say you're taking.
You don't get a choice.
So remember Matucci's test. That test tells you if you test positive or negative for, let's say, 20 drugs. It's cheap and easy and involves 1 test and 1 charge. Let's call that the cheeseburger test.
Yum.
Why? It'll make more sense in a moment. There's another test that can also be done in order to know specifically how much of each drug is in a person's system. It's more complex. Instead of 1 test for 20 drugs, this involves testing the urine sample 20 times for 20 drugs. 20 tests, 20 charges. That can get pricey. So we'll call it the filet mignon of urine screens.
Delicious.
Others call it a profit grab. California attorney and urine drug testing expert Harry Nelson says 80% of the filet mignon tests are not medically necessary.
Basically, a lot of money is being spent to test for something where we already know the answer.
Which brings us back to Sharon. She initially did a cheeseburger test. It turned up negative for everything but this. And that was to be expected because she told the doctor beforehand she was taking the prescribed barbiturate. Still didn't stop the doctor from checking box after box after box for the additional and more expensive round of testing.
This one right here, 104.
Hey. Hi, my name's Sharon.
Golden-based Insight Labs then proceeded to do test after test after test. As we explained to a camera-shy lab tech, Insight's tests offered little insight, other than to confirm that a 41-year-old mother of two with no history of drug abuse was not taking cocaine, meth, ketamine, fentanyl, ecstasy. You get the point.
You're supposed to direct all your questions to Justin.
Yeah, Justin's not calling me back.
Eventually, he did tell us this.
More than likely, we'll just be losing money on it.
If her insurance wouldn't pay the $6,000, she wouldn't know a thing.
Which might make you wonder, why should you care? Well, let's just say there are a lot of labs doing this, and sometimes someone does end up paying, like, let's say, the state of Colorado, and you, and me.
When I tell you that Colorado is now spending 26 times more per month on urine screens than it did in 2014, what do you think?
I think that's a lot.
We found the state's Medicaid program in 2014 spent on average $52,000 a month to urine screen Coloradans. Last year, it spent $1.35 million a month, and the state didn't even know about it.
How do you not notice that?
Until we told the program's medical director, Dr. Judy Zerzan.
We had looked into this a couple of years ago when other states were having this problem, but hadn't refreshed that until you brought it to our attention.
Very concerning to me, Chris. First I've heard of it.
We told State Representative Joanne Janal the state didn't just pay more because of more patients. Our data found in 2014 Medicaid paid for 1.4 tests per month per patient. In 2016, it paid for nearly 8 tests per month per patient.
Do you think your colleagues would be interested in this data?
I think they would, yes.
She's asking for a review.
We're always looking for ways to do things better.
As for Insight, a spokesperson told us it operates in accordance with all laws and only performs tests under the orders of a prescribing physician. Centura Health, which owns the prescribing physician's practice, refused comment on the story.
Thank you.
Leaving us to wonder if our story about urine really isn't a story about urine after all.
I don't think that these companies realize how much stress this puts on the patients.
And still closed, Colorado Mills Mall has been shut down ever since Monday's big hailstorm. Store managers were allowed to come in and check the damage, and one of them described the scene as eerie. Water still drips from the ceiling, though not as bad as it was on Monday when up to 3 inches of water flooded shops. 9 News reporter Dan Grossman is live at the mall in Lakewood, and Dan, businesses don't know when they're going to be able to reopen.
Kim, they don't. Some store managers were fortunate enough to only need to replace carpet in their stores. Others have to throw away entire shelves of inventory. The managers we spoke with today said they have not heard back from the mall on when they will be able to reopen, and neither have we. Our calls today went unanswered, as did those of managers who spent the day trying to figure out what to do next.
The dormancy of the parking lot did not give credence.
Super loud in there. They have all the fans going.
Give credence to the apparent liveliness inside the Colorado Mills Mall Thursday.
It was just things that you don't expect to see in a mall, like literally puddles everywhere. And
dollies everywhere, trash bags everywhere, product everywhere, people everywhere.
Daniel Belger was one of those people, just in a different capacity than usual.
Just trying to assess the situation so we know what we need to do to move forward.
His sunglass shop made out all right. Some leaks and damaged equipment here and there, but for the most part,
you gotta take it one day, one step at a time. And
I don't really know what to do, you know, like how am I gonna make all this money up?
It didn't amount to what Anna Gerard is dealing with. Just look at her bathroom.
It really sucks because my store was making plan every single month and we were like #1 in our district for a really long time.
In total, Gerard expects the 8% surplus in her body shop to turn into a 10% deficit, with no word on when she and her team will be able to start making up ground.
I mean, I don't know anything official. I've heard 2 weeks to 6 months.
The mall hasn't been in touch with its stores, but judging by the tarps covering large sections of the roof, it may take some time.
Their well-being's in there, and it's kind of sad to see it.
Even still, those images only give more credence to the attitudes that are prevailing.
We're all just trying to stay as positive as possible.
People helping people in there, you know what I mean?
It's just something that you kind of have to laugh at, because like, what are you going to do?
This evening, a vigil was held in memory of a young woman police say was killed last month in Aurora. Her body was found in the foothills of Clear Creek County. This afternoon, officers made an arrest in her murder. 9 News reporter Eddie Randall talked to family and friends about Queen Ashby and the arrest of her suspected killer.
Today we're all here to in memory of Queen.
With balloons, candles, and held hands.
I miss her.
Many came together.
Just to celebrate her and to just make sure that she knows that she's loved.
But not just Queen.
Her and Duchess, her daughter.
Her daughter, who won't get the chance to know her mother like many of these people.
We met in English class.
Rochelle Gamber has been friends with Queen since high school.
I knew her as soon as she joined the cheer team.
She says the past few weeks have not been easy.
It's been hard. You know, I never thought I would lose such a close friend.
Aurora police say Queen was killed in the beginning of last month, and her body was discovered April 8th near a state highway. Loved ones, still shocked by the news, try to stay positive through memories.
She was just an eccentric, loud, loving person. She just loved to love everyone.
Police arrested Shaw Ray Butler in this Aurora neighborhood. They believe he is responsible for her murder.
The person who did this to Queen is no longer living life freely. They're behind bars where they belong to be, and Queen deserves justice.
Many feel his arrest brings them some closure.
I think that's also what helped everyone else come out here.
Queen is an only child who also leaves one behind, which is what those close to her worry most about.
Her daughter won't remember her mom because she's a baby, and you know, her mom losing her own child, I can't imagine. She's my best friend, but I'm not a mom yet, so I don't know what it's like to lose a child.
Queen may be gone, but they all vow to keep her memory alive.
I love you, Queen.